Hello, my name is Madison Libby, and this is my book review for my children's literature class at Barton County. I read the book Beezus and Ramona by Beverly Clearly, and this was such a fun book to read because I actually have a younger sister myself, and we went through a lot of the same struggles that Beezus and Ramona went through, so I thought it'd be a fun book to read. So to start off, I did read the book and the movie, or watch the movie as well. And it was kind of funny seeing the differences between the book and the movie because in the book, it actually starts off with Ramona being 4 years old and Beezus being 9. And then in the movie, Beezus is actually in high school and Ramona is in 3rd grade, I believe. She's 9 years old in the movie. And so that's kind of where I first noticed that, oh, these are going to be really different stories. So talking about how Ramona and Beezus, they played a really important role in both the book and the movie. As far as the father goes, he played a really important role in the movie as well, but not quite so much in the book, which was also interesting because in the movie, he spent a lot of time with Ramona actually, which was fun to see that father-daughter bond. The mother in the movie was a really important role in the movie and the book as well. The mother sounded like a stay-at-home mom in the book because she was always around Beezus and Ramona, and she took care of a lot of the problems that Ramona caused with her goofy imagination and all of her creativeness in the house. And Ramona has caused several problems in their house. She was riding her bike around and crashed into several things and was quite the distraction. So seeing 4-year-old Ramona and compared to 9-year-old Ramona and how there was different problems caused was pretty fun to observe as well. As far as additions go compared to the book and the movie, the book really focused on Ramona and Beezus, obviously, and then in the movie there was actually an addition of the dad. He also played a really important role, and then also Aunt B played a really important role in the movie as well, Aunt Beatrice. And then Hobart actually was Howie's uncle. He lived next door to Ramona and Beezus in the movie. And so seeing the dad and Aunt B and then Hobart show up more in the movie was pretty fun as well, because reading the book you kind of always imagine what they would look like. It's actually kind of funny because when Aunt B played a really big role in the movie, in the book they talked about her maybe a couple times, and how she never visited. In the book, Aunt B is actually gay, which they focused on a little bit, which I just thought was interesting because, and how they changed it from the book to the movie, how they didn't make Aunt B gay, and she actually finds an old friend, and that's kind of a surprise that I would like to keep, which is pretty fun to see. But so those are some of the additions. As far as the scenes go in the movie, there was a lot of additions of just, since Ramona was older, Ramona also went to school, and the book talks about Ramona going to an art class and then a little bit of nursery school. So since she was only 4, she couldn't attend normal school. There was also an addition to Ramona's teacher who played a big role as well. There was an addition of a scene where Ramona actually went and tried to help out her family, which was going through some struggles in the movie, and Ramona went to a commercial audition, and they added that scene in there, which is pretty funny to watch. They also added several scenes in there where Ramona would just try to do something to help out her family, or try to do something that was kind of an easy task, but also a harder task for a 9-year-old. And she somehow messed it up in the slightest way, and it just turned into like this big snowball. And she kept making mistake after mistake after mistake. But it was funny because a lot of the mistakes turned into happy moments in the movie, which was fun to watch as well. Because in the book it really talks about how Ramona would always be punished for her mistakes and for her craziness that happened in the house. Her mom would always get on her in the book. And then also in the book there was just a lot of talk about how Ramona was just making mistake after mistake for attention. But in the movie, Ramona doesn't really want attention. She just wants to help out her family, which was also pretty fun to watch as well. As far as deletions, there were all the scenes pretty much in the book were not in the movie, which was I would like for there to be some scenes from the book in the movie, just because I think since the book was written first, I just think the movie should go off of it. But I definitely understand why they didn't talk at all about the scenes that happened in the book, because this book went by really fast. So as far as deletions, there was deletions of all the scenes from the book in the movie, and then obviously none of the movie scenes were actually in the book, because the book talks about how Ramona ruined a library book, and that was not in the movie. And then Ramona also ate a ton of apples in their basement and ruined all the apples, and then they made applesauce from it, and that was not in the movie. And then the book also had Ramona throw a party at 4 years old, and that was not in the movie as well. And then also there was the part in the book where Ramona locked the dog in the closet, or the dog locked itself in the closet, and that was not in the movie as well. So those were some of the deletions. As far as relationships go, Ramona and Beezus kind of butt heads in both of the books. Just typical. I'm glad they followed that storyline. And then in the movie, again, talking about that dad having a good relationship with his family. Him and Ramona got closer in the movie, and the dad showed up a lot more in the movie, and so did the mother and Aunt Beatrice as well, which was kind of fun to see, because the dad really didn't play a big role in the book. In the book, the dad was just kind of like, Ramona, you need to grow up, you just need to be done with your silliness, And the dad in the movie is actually kind of more encouraging towards the beginning of the movie, and then towards the middle, he's kind of like annoyed with it. But still not as bad, I would say, as the dad in the book, because he doesn't really show up a lot. So as far as the plot of the book really focuses on Ramona making all these mistakes, and her just making mistake after mistake after mistake just for attention, and how Beezus kind of struggles with figuring out if she loves her sister, and how could she love her sister if she just keeps making all these mistakes just on purpose, because there was a scene in the book where Ramona actually ruined Beezus' birthday, and Beezus kind of struggled with, how could I just feel like I hate my sister right now. I don't really know if I could love her. And then Aunt B comes into the book, and she talks about how she didn't like her sister at all. And then as you grow older, you just begin to kind of let all the stuff go in the past, and start to develop a good sister relationship with each other. As far as the plot in the movie, I wouldn't say really chimes in. I mean, yes, the plot does focus on Ramona making mistakes, but again, in the book, they always kind of yelled at Ramona and said, Ramona, you can't do that, or Ramona Quimby, you need to do better. As far as when in the movie, when Ramona makes a mistake, they always kind of turn it into something good, or they just try to focus on the bright side of something. Sometimes in the movie, she does kind of make some mistakes, and sometimes the parents do get after her a little bit and just say, Ramona, like, you need to grow up a little bit. But as far as that goes, the mistakes, though, they were pretty fun to watch, and I liked seeing how the movie would turn things around. So some examples of how some scenes in the movie went were when Ramona was trying to help her family raise money. She was doing a car wash and started washing someone's car, and kind of pulled the hose around, and the car was stuck on some blocks, and so she pulled the hose around the back end of the car and moved one of those blocks, and then the car rolled into a paint shed, and all of the paint fell on the car. And so she was in loads of trouble. And then the character who actually owned the car, which was Hobart, he said, you know what, it's not a big deal. The car looks better now with all those colors on it. And so I really liked how he turned it into a good thing. And then another good example was Ramona actually was trying to get the hose for her Aunt Bee, and accidentally squirted the hose at Hobart and started a water fight, which was fun to watch, and it was fun to see all of them laugh and have fun together. So those were just some examples. As far as some of the book scenes go for the plot, again, talking about those eating all those apples, and how her mom got after her for that, and then also ruining her sister's birthday cake. Her mom got after her for that as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it as far as recommendations go. I would definitely recommend the book or the movie. I would definitely recommend the movie over the book, because the movie, again, is just so much better at making the problems into kind of good things, but also focusing on how they were problems and how they did need to be fixed, and how Ramona kind of did need to grow up a little bit. I forgot to compare Ramona's imagination, though, between the books. Her imagination between the books is still pretty funny to watch. In the movie, her imagination in the scenes where she does kind of imagine stuff is fun to watch as well. For an example, at the beginning of the movie, she is on the monkey bars and is pretending she's in a valley and really, really high up. And so she doesn't want to fall, so she sticks her feet in, and then she's hanging upside down in the monkey bars and gets in trouble for that at school. So that was just an example. Yes, I would definitely recommend the movie over the book, because the book really goes by quick, and I like the scenes in the movie a lot better than I did the scenes in the book. But this book would be a really good classroom read, because for an example, if you had a 3rd or 4th grade class, you could have them read this book as a class, and you as a teacher could just open the pages and just read it to them for like 10-20 minutes every day. And then when you were done with the book, you could watch the movie together and see how the book compared to the movie, and then ask which one they liked better. And they could even take notes during the movie, because there were a lot of differences, which I really liked, because in a lot of the movies now, they're the same, and people actually like the book more than the movies. But I am definitely a big movie person when it comes to Ramona and Beezus. So that was my book presentation. I hope you like my recommendation. I really think this is a good class read. It's a super easy read and a very good book comparison if you want to do that in your classroom. So thank you for watching my video. Bye.